Thank you, everybody. I want to thank that wonderful cocktail hour. I want to thank that great violin player. I want to thank everybody who came out and just made that first half of the night an enjoyable night. But now it's down to business. You know, for as long as I can remember, it's a pretty long time, for as long as I can remember, Neil Kuperman has been an important part of this community. It seemed that no matter where one turned, there would be Neil with his big smile, those wide eyes, that gregarious personality. I first met him when we were both involved in Good Samaritan Hospital on the foundation there, and I saw firsthand what his dedication to the human quality that we all have looked like. Excuse me. Neil was a sharp businessman, that we know. He knew how to market himself as well as his company, and he built a special connection between his company and the people of Rockland County by not taking himself too seriously, while all the while taking the projects and the causes he believed in and he was working on very seriously. And I've tried to emulate that, not taking myself too seriously, but these things that we all do, we take very seriously. The nursing department dancing here, and they'll go back to work and it'll be the most serious thing that they'll do. My family and I always waited to see where they were going to put Neil next in his commercials. He was zany enough to sell cars, and I got to tell you, I bought 12 of them to date, both from Neil and now from Leah. But my favorite part of the Neil Kuperman saga is his excitement about the smart apartment and his willingness to build a golf outing that would pay for it. Excuse me. I thought that the work that Neil did for Helen Hayes Hospital Foundation as a clear mover and shaker was both righteous, energetic, and I'll add the word inspiring too. And Neil, along with Marcy, Kurtz, and Hilda and Steve Lichtman, they were the ones who convinced me, thank you, Steve, you're doing it again. They convinced me to bring Active International onto the foundation family. And ultimately, they convinced me to get on the board. I don't know how I'm going to get off, but Neil truly represents the spirit of what this community is all about. And although we don't have him up here full-time or as much as we'd want or as much as we would like, he still shines brightly as you walk his path of dedication and caring.
Well, as we all know, I don't think I can say it any better than Joe does, because he's an incredible person with words, but there are some things I want to say. Basically, I just want to thank Neil for your friendship, for the support of the foundation, and for me personally, although I know he was a very tough taskmaster when we did those golf outings, but he was always willing to do the same job himself. He didn't just ask people to do stuff, he did it himself, and he called on people and brought out the best in those people. And I know for a fact that our golf committee, that half of the people that are there were there because of Neil, because he pushed it. And he also brought us to Scott Bernstein, Dr. Bernstein, who's kind of carrying on his tradition. And thank you, everybody. I just wanted to read something. Somebody who wanted to be here very much, but he couldn't make it. For those of you who've worked on the golf outing, we all know Sonny, and Sonny's in Florida, and he asked me to say these words. I can't be there with you tonight, but I would like to send my heartfelt congratulations all the way from Florida. It is apropos that you are being honored for your hard work and commitment to the Helen Hayes Hospital Foundation, and that it is another thing that I must thank you for. You introduced me to the hospital, and as usual, your excitement and passion was contagious. Now I am hooked on supporting the hospital forever. I look to Neil as a father figure, I don't think he meant that you were old, but that's okay. For his continued guidance and support for so many, many years. But much more important to me than the business relationship that we shared was the even more valuable personal relationship. And P.S., Neil, everyone at Rayo's misses you and wanted me to tell you that they really miss your big tipping. That's it. Neil, could you please come up to accept your award? Turn around.
Joe, thank you. Marcy, thank you. If you would have bought a couple more cars, maybe I'd still be here.
12's a lot.
12's a lot. I'm a better storyteller than I am a speech giver, so I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story. A number of years ago, Marcy came to me and said, are we getting feedback on this? Marcy came to me and said, we'd like to raise some money and we'd like to run a golf outing. I said, you know how to do it. I said, well, I know how to do it, but I know how to do it with a partner who is here tonight, Dr. Scott Bernstein. I couldn't have done it without Scott and his hard work. And Scott's dedication to Helen Hayes Hospital also. A golf outing doesn't just happen. Marcy has worked and worked and worked to make it successful, and her team has worked on it. Marcy, if you're not talking to Steve, congratulations. Thank you. You did a great job. I really appreciate it. The first meeting that I went to at Helen Hayes on the board, I presented the golf outing. And a lot of the people there looked at me and said, well, we don't play golf. We don't know anything about golf. And I said, well, we can make it happen. And they said, well, I'm not going, or I'm not playing golf. Remember that meeting? And I said, if we have a great cause, a great venue, we can do it. But it has to be a great venue. And I have the venue, Manhattan Woods. Now you come up with the cause. Marcy came back to me and said, we have something called a smart apartment we'd like to put together. I said, what's a smart apartment? Well, it's a room in the hospital. We can make a couple of rooms there and teach some people how they can live a normal life. And I said, hey, that's pretty cool. I like that. One of the gentlemen that I met after the first golf outing was a man named Niles Davis. I think his children are here tonight. Niles came up to me after the first outing and gave me a hug and a kiss. And he said, thank you. And I said, thank you for what? He says, well, thank you for carrying on the tradition that I started. And I thank his family and him for everything that he did, starting the foundation at Helen Hayes Hospital. So thank you. We had a dedication for the smart apartment. I don't know how many of you were there that night, but I was lucky with my wife, Beverly, to be in the first group. And about 10 of us walked into the smart apartment. And with us was a mother and father with a young child in a wheelchair. And they walked with us, and we looked at them, and we went through the doors and looked at what we built there. And I saw them whisper to each other, our daughter has a chance. And I think I had tears in my eyes at that point, because I know we made a difference. And that's what Helen Hayes is really about. And sometimes when you do fundraising, you look at your own pocket and say, you know, I can't do it. But I've told everybody, you might not be able to do it yourself, but you know people who know people that can get it done. So on behalf of myself, my family, Scott, the golf committee, everybody at Helen Hayes, thank you very much for this honor. I really appreciate it. Thank you.